we see the trend of like every 3 to 6 months, another young, black, multi-talented, gorgeous woman engaging in baby mother culture. And then y'all look at the baby dad like, oh, he was just trying to sit her down. He was trying to humble her. I mean, even if that's true, she was engaging in it too. Like it takes two. Unless there's an assault, it takes two.
So many times women are so successful and they're on their straight path of success, but they allow a man to come around and completely warp, flip, and change their life. A lot of the times we look at these very successful women who get pregnant by these men, and we're so quick to say, oh, he trapped her. He did this to her. He did this to her. But I'm just going to be real and clock some tea. A man cannot do anything you do not allow him to do to you. If he trapped her, there is no way that he trapped her without her allowing that. If he made her a baby mom, there is no way that he did that without her allowing that. I know I always say be wary of men and men can ruin your life, but at the end of the day, taking all accountability, a man cannot ruin your life if you do not give him the access to, and if you do not allow him to.
You need to be married before having a man's baby, period. Podcast episode number 1. The topic is baby mama culture in the black community. I don't understand why it's still a thing. I'm not putting 2 and 2 together. I thought being married was the bare minimum. I thought being married was the standard. I thought being married was a non-negotiable before literally bearing a man's entire child. I don't know what needs to happen if we all need to meet up and go ahead and, agree on this, but I'm tired of the embarrassment. I'm tired of not seeing a fat boulder rock on the girl's fingers before giving a man a baby. It's just crazy to me.
It's too many baby mamas and not enough wives. Yeah? Too many baby showers, not enough weddings. Okay? Ladies, I'm gonna need y'all to stand up and put your foot down to these men. Stop letting them trap you. And for everybody that's like, oh, marriage is too much of a commitment. Marriage is too serious. Woo, woo, woo. What do you think a baby is? You are tied to this person for the rest of your life through a child.
Maybe I'm just getting old, but the new girlies, the new celebrities, they're just getting pregnant at their peak, and I'm just appalled. Like, I'm 27, but like the people I grew up listening to and watching, like my celebrities that I really looked up to, Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, they gave us all they had. They basked in their celebrityhood or whatever it's called. They got to live in their peak, and now they're having families. And that's all I want for the girlies. That's all I want. Having kids just makes everything harder, and like right now, Skai Jackson, Mona Leo, Flo Milli, like they are supposed to be living in black girl luxury, just out here traveling, touring, enjoying being young, hot, and sexy, and then the kids come. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but like live in your moment, live in your 20s, enjoy yourself. Build your queendom, establish yourselves, get your degree, your certificates, your license, your trade, whatever it is that you want to do. Make your money, be single for some time, especially if like you're an older sibling and you're helping raise your siblings. Like, get some time to spend by yourself first.
Hey everyone, it's Bree. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back in another video, and I'm here to talk about a topic that is trending a lot on my timeline. Honestly, it's a topic that's been talked about for the past couple of months in particular. I feel like it's been a hot button topic in 2024. But before I get into today's video, I actually wanted to talk about Ana Luisa, which is a sustainable jewelry brand. As you guys know, I have been working with Ana Luisa for a while now because I really love all of the pieces that they make, and as someone that is a fiend for jewelry, I have really enjoyed working with Ana Luisa. And with the holidays coming up, they have some holiday specials that are coming up that I'll be talking about in today's video, as well as showing you guys some of the pieces that they sent over to me to showcase in this video. So y'all know I don't ever film a video without some earrings, okay? And the reason why I don't have earrings in right now is because I'm going to show you guys the earrings that they have sent me. So first we have these really cute hoop earrings, which are perfect for the holiday season. You know, as I said before, you know, I don't own a lot of dainty jewelry, and I am now of the age where I'm getting invited to like nice events and galas and dinners and things. And so I don't need like a very loud over the top earring to every event that I go to. So these are actually perfect for an event, or if you just want something subtle with a little shine, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these in and show you guys what they look like. Okay, so I got the earrings in. These are really cute. Like, I like how shiny they are. Like I said, like they aren't like over the top and big, but they still make a statement. I think this is perfect for the winter season. I also have these pearl earrings, super duper cute. I feel like I don't have enough pearl jewelry in my collection of jewelry, so I'm gonna go ahead and take these off and show you what the pearl earrings look like. Okay, so I got the pearl earrings in again, super cute. These I feel like are like a good like everyday type of earring, and I also feel like these pearl earrings go good with the shirt that I'm wearing currently. But yeah, these are super cute. I love a good dangly earring. But yeah, as I've said before, Ana Luisa is a high quality jewelry brand that offers you great pieces at affordable prices. And if you were thinking about, you know, gifting yourself something nice for the holiday season or gifting a loved one with something, these pieces are perfect for that. And luckily for you, they are also having a holiday sale. And luckily for you, Ana Luisa is having a holiday sale right now, so you can get these pieces at even better prices. And with how expensive holiday shopping can be, I will take any opportunity to save a coin. And honestly, I feel like you can't go wrong with jewelry as a gift, especially if you don't know what to get somebody. I feel like Ana Luisa are very unique as well. Like, I don't typically see these type of pieces like out and about when I'm shopping. So if you're still looking for the perfect holiday gift, Ana Luisa has you covered. Make sure you guys check out their website to take advantage of their current holiday sale. Make sure you guys click the link in my bio as well as my pinned comment to check out all of their amazing pieces. Again, if you're looking to shop affordable, high quality jewelry this holiday season, make sure you guys check out the link in my bio as well as my pinned comment. Now, getting back into this video. So what I wanted to talk about, right, is this whole baby mama culture that's happening right now. A lot of people have been talking about it and sharing their thoughts about just the, I guess it seems like there's like an uptick of celebrities that are having children outside of marriage, right? Now, obviously this concept is not a foreign concept, right? People have been doing this from the beginning of time, whether you're a celebrity, you're a regular person. People be having babies every single day. that is nothing new. But as of recently, it seems like a lot of celebrities that you would deem as successful and have a lot going for themselves, people feel like a lot of these celebrities, in particular in the black celebrity space, a lot of successful women that you see are having kids very early in their careers, and they're having kids with men that they are not married to, right? And that in itself has been a whole conversation about having kids out of wedlock, and, you know, should you get married before you have kids? That's a whole debate on the internet right now. And I think I've spoken about it briefly in past videos, like, you know, with the whole Janae Aiko and Queen Naja situation, you know, with them being in these long-term relationships with no ring and people having, you know, issues with that. And again, I think to each their own with the whole like marriage thing. I mean, I have my own personal opinions about it, which I will get into this video. But at the end of the day, people have to live their lives the way that they want. And at the end of the day, as much as we may believe that people should get married before they have kids, people are going to do what they want. And, you know, I've come to realize that we are just in a current climate right now where marriage just is not prioritized, and there's just some people who don't want it. And I don't think people should get married if that's truly not what they want. However, in the same breath though, I don't think that it's necessary to bring a child into that, right? Like, if you don't want to get married, cool. Marriage is not for everybody. Not everything is for everybody, regardless of what society says, whether it's getting married or going to college, getting your degree, like the things that society tells you that you need to do and that you have to do. You don't have to do that. Shoot, even with having kids, like there's some people who really want kids, but then there's some people that don't. I don't think everything is for everybody. I think people should do what they want to do with their lives and what would make them happy, right? But I do think when it comes to bringing a child into the world, you do have to consider what you're bringing that child into. I think sometimes when people, are planning or not planning, whatever the case may be, when they're bringing kids into the world, right? There isn't a whole lot of planning, I feel, or consideration, I should say. There isn't a whole lot of consideration for the child and their upbringing and the type of environment that you're bringing that kid into. Because let's be real, right? Like, having a kid is a very selfish decision. There isn't anything selfless about having a child. Like, that is solely like you and your partner's choice and decision. There is no single child, there's no single person on this planet that acts to be here, that acts to be born into the world, right? So it's ultimately a selfish decision between you and your partner. Hopefully sometimes it's just a decision with the mother, and you do have to take into consideration, right? Like, okay, if you are going to bring a child into the world, think about who you're bringing the child into the world with. I think that's very important. And as we're seeing people like Halle Bailey and DDG, Keke Palmer and Darius, and now Flo Milli is apparently pregnant. I don't know who her partner is. I don't know if that's been revealed. I just been seeing people talk about Flo Milli. I haven't seen much about her partner, who he is, what he does, and what the status of their relationship is. But you're seeing a whole lot of these women who are successful in their careers. Oh, Skai Jackson, can't forget Skai Jackson, Jesus. Her and that boy, what's his name, Yerky, that whole situation. Like, there's like a lot of conversation right around like this whole baby mama culture thing, and why it just seems like so many successful Black women fall into that stereotype and fall into that same cycle that, honestly, again, celebrity or not, that a lot of Black women fall victim to, right? And obviously things happen, right? And you can't expect anyone to be a perfect human being, and that also applies to picking the right partner. You could think that you're with the right person, but kids change everything. You could be in a relationship and everything is sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns, and everything is great, and y'all are a perfect match, but then when that baby gets there, it can literally change everything. And I think that's the scariest part about just being in relationships in general, right? Is you not really knowing who you're with until certain situations happen, right? And that's something that I learned the hard way, with my past relationship, right? It's like everything was fine until life started lifing. And when, my partner at that time was under a lot of stress, I didn't know how they reacted to being under a whole lot of stress. And it just led to a lot of toxicity and mistreatment in that relationship. And so a lot of times you don't know really what you're getting into with the person until you've seen them in different seasons. When you've seen them stressed, depressed, angry, upset, and having a child, getting married. Like, you hear so many stories, right, of women who were in relationships and everything seemed fine, everything seemed not perfect, but everything seemed okay and healthy until a major life change happened. Again, whether it's they got married or they had a kid, or maybe their partner lost somebody, like a huge death in the family. Like, it's always like a huge life event that could sometimes make or break a relationship, right? And so I feel like too, you have a lot of women who are in relationships with men that they do trust, that they do value, and that they do see a future with, but then a baby comes into the picture, and maybe that person wasn't ready for that type of commitment, or whatever the case may be. Maybe they don't step up as the parent that they need to be in that situation, and it changes things, right? Again, we don't know these people. So it's all speculation to why they chose certain decisions and whatever the case may be. But I do think it's an interesting conversation to have around why this keeps happening, and why, seemingly from the outside looking in, why are these women that are successful, that are doing great things for themselves, why is it that they keep falling into that same cycle, or picking the same type of dudes, or picking guys that we feel maybe they quote unquote don't deserve? But you using Halle and DDG as an example, right? Like, I stopped talking about them a while ago just because I was over it. Like, cuz I was somebody that was genuinely a fan of both of them. I was somebody that was a fan of DDG. Like, I actually did watch DDG growing up on YouTube. So I was familiar with who he was, and I tried to defend him in the beginning, but then he kept doing stuff and I'm like, "Okay, bro, I can't keep defending you." And there was this whole narrative, right, about how someone like Halle shouldn't have been with DDG. Like, DDG didn't deserve her, and people were calling DDG a bum, which I highly disagreed with. Like, DDG like has his own platform and his own successes in the space that he's in, right? But I think it was interesting because I understand where people are coming from, because it's like, okay, Halle has all these amazing opportunities. Like, her level of celebrity, right, is higher than DDG's, right? Like, Halle can get into some rooms that DDG can't. And although I understand it from that point of view, we really don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And people have peeped that Halle isn't necessarily as innocent as people first thought. Like, there's a couple of things that Halle has done or said online, even especially with that whole thing with the nail lady. And I understand that she was pregnant and the hormones were hormoning, but people have started to peep that Halle is who people think Chloe is, and vice versa, right? And so if that's the case, if Halle has her own problematic things with her, it's like, okay, well, maybe they low-key were a perfect match. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know, right? I think it's just all about public perception and what they choose to showcase to us. But at the end of the day, right, I have noticed that it's definitely become more common as of late to see a lot of these successful women having children. And again, whether or not the partners are the best choices for them is, again, up for debate as well. And I think there's a couple of reasons why this may be, right? I think at a base level, again, just on a human level, celebrity or not, things like this happen all the time. Things like this happen all the time, where you have women that end up with a man that quote unquote isn't good for them, and maybe they don't see it, and they end up picking the wrong person. We a lot of us have been there, right, where we just picked the wrong person. And some of us are able to come out of those situations without a kid involved, and we're able to recover. But then some people make choices that impact them for a lifetime. And I don't think the course of action here on our end is to sit there and bash and shame them, because I've been seeing a whole lot of that too, where it's almost like every single time you see a pregnancy announcement, if the woman isn't married, it's just a bunch of people being nasty in the comments, like, why would you do this? This is so stupid, and you're gonna ruin your career, and why would you do? And it's like, bro. Like, especially with Halle, like, I get it, right? Like, everybody was telling her, don't date DDG, you need to leave him alone, why are you having his kid? And I'm sure she's feeling that hard right now. I'm sure that she is going through a space of self-reflection right now, where she's realizing, her mistakes or her choices and where it's led her. I don't think she needs the internet bashing her every 5 seconds, basically telling her, I told you so, right? I don't think that she needs that right now, especially going through postpartum, as she's spoken about. Again, I don't quite know what Flo Milli's situation is. I just know that, it's pretty much confirmed at this point that she is pregnant. But again, I think some of it just comes down to just human error, like when you're dating or when you're early in your dating experience, you just might end up picking the wrong people. And I think that's something that I have seen a few people mention, like people like Halle and Keke, right? I think it was said that they both grew up pretty sheltered, and they didn't really have a lot of dating experience when they were younger. And so they're just now starting. Like, they're both pretty much like late bloomers when it comes to like dating and being in relationships. And as someone that's also a late bloomer, right? It's like when you're kind of just thrown into the world with little to no experience with certain things, you end up not catching a lot of stuff. There's a lot of red flags that kind of just go over your head. Like, you lack that experience to discern and pick the right person. You end up, it's easier to pick the wrong person when you don't have that experience and, not knowing necessarily what to look out for, right? And so I think in those scenarios, right, like you have a few of those like childhood stars that didn't quite get that life experience that a lot of us got, and they're just now figuring out the whole dating thing. And in the midst of them trying to figure that out and maybe picking the wrong partner in the beginning, it led to them having a kid with the wrong person. And again, that kind of just happens, right? Because I cannot tell you how many times I've been like, yeah, I'm kind of glad I got out of the last situation that I was in without a kid, because I literally cannot imagine trying to heal from everything that I went through, plus having to like try to co-parent and like, yeah, I I try to count my blessings, right, in that regard. So yeah, I think some of that is just that, like there's just some women out there who, they just end up with the wrong person and is on full display, because they're public figures, like it's shown to the world, like they're not able to really go through those, growing pains of dating and figuring out what you like and, everything like that behind closed doors. However, I will say I feel like Chloe, Holly's sister, did a pretty good job of that, because I know, like, I think it was her first album that Chloe dropped, like her first solo album. She talked about heartbreak in that. She talked about how she was going through her first heartbreak and all those like first experiences that she had with dating. And so, Chloe was a little bit more private about it, but again, they both were kind of just now getting into the whole dating scene, and it's just that Holly ended up with DDG, who's very public with everything and had their relationship on full display. And I think Holly kind of just went along with that because, she probably was in love with DDG. And, so again, I think that some of it is due to just human error and just them being on a public platform to where they're just going to get ridiculed because they're celebrities. But then there's the flip side of it, right, where just society as a whole doesn't really value marriage like that anymore. And that's something that I've come to realize as someone that, I've always desired marriage, although even for me that's kind of changed, not to the point where it's like, oh, I don't want to get married but I want to have kids. I've made peace with the fact that I may not get either one in this lifetime, and it is what it is. But with that being said, just realizing just where society is right now and how people view marriage, for me it's something where I've taken it off of my life goals, right? It's something where, like, if it happens and God willing, if it's in the plans for me, then it'll just be an additional blessing to my life, but it's not like a main focus for me anymore. But with that being said, I also recognize that if I never get married, I'm also never having kids, like, because I'm someone that doesn't want to bring kids into a situation where both parents aren't together. Now, yes, things can happen, and I know that this is the main go-to that people say when you even bring up the thought of getting married before you have kids, right? Is people say like, oh, like marriage doesn't guarantee anything, you can still get divorced, things can still not work out. And it's like, sure, but again, you can't deny that marriage does come with extra security and benefits, right? Like, there are benefits to raising a child in a two-parent household, right? And I think because you're seeing that, like, with millennials and Gen Z, a lot of us are coming from broken homes. I think that for a lot of people within those generations, it's like, oh, well, I turned out fine, so I don't need to necessarily prioritize it because, I grew up without both of my parents and I turned out okay. But I don't think that should be the goal, though. And again, life happens. I get it. Life happens and you can't guarantee anything. But I also don't believe that the goal should be to co-parent either. Like, again, if things don't work out, then yes, healthy co-parenting should be the goal, but I think there should be more consideration in how you're going to raise your child. And at the bare minimum, even if you don't want to get married, making sure that you choose a partner that no matter what happens, that they're gonna be there for that child no matter what, whether y'all are together or not. And I feel like at a base, some people aren't even doing that. Some people aren't even taking into consideration the type of parent somebody, could be before having a child. And yes, again, I understand that a lot of children come into the world unplanned, right? But, and again, this is just my personal opinion. I feel like before you lay down with anybody without protection, there should be some level of consideration as to, again, God forbid something happens that we don't anticipate on happening. Are we prepared to deal with the consequences? Is this somebody that I wouldn't mind dealing with those consequences with? I do think you should take that into consideration. And it's hard because we're in this hookup culture right now where people are just sleeping around with whoever. People are hooking up with folks that they meet in the same night. And again, do what you want with your body, but just understand that if you aren't going to take the necessary precautions to make sure that a child doesn't come out of that situation, you do need to be mindful, because again, that decision isn't just going to impact you, it's going to impact that child. And I think the child should be first and foremost when you're choosing who to sleep with and whether or not you're going to protect yourself in that. Like, you have to know the risks that you're taking. And again, it's not a matter of, oh, marriage is a guarantee of anything, but you also can't argue that people that are typically brought up in healthy two-parent households, because people bring that up too, of like, oh, well, you have people that grew up with both of their parents, but they were fighting all the time and they traumatized the child. Again, that's why you have to take into consideration who you're having a child with. If you're having a child with somebody that is overall a great person, and again, you've had these conversations about how you would raise a child, and they overall seem like, you know, a good person, and maybe you've seen the way that they interact with other kids, whatever your criteria is for, you know, whether or not someone will be a good partner and a good parent, I think having a two-parent household that is healthy, I think sets that kid up for the best upbringing possible, as opposed to, again, a single parent household or a co-parenting situation that may or may not be healthy as well. Like, you do have to take that into consideration. And so again, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do with their body and whether or not people need to get married or don't need to get married, but I will say that there's pros and cons to everything. And I think at the end of the day, you have to consider what's best for the child. You can't just consider what's best for you. You have to think about what's best for the child. And for most children, the best type of environment that they can be brought up in is a healthy two-parent household. Now, again, if the comparison is two-parent household, but they're arguing and they're being toxic and they're traumatizing the kids, versus the parents are no longer together, but they're happy and they're healthy and they're co-parenting, then yes, obviously co-parent. Don't just be together for the kids and have that environment in itself be traumatizing. Like, obviously, if you had to choose between the two, then yes, be separate and happy versus together and not happy. But people often think that marriage immediately equals unhappy and toxic, and I think it's because that's what a lot of us have seen. That's what a lot of people have seen, is toxic marriages. A lot of people don't even know what a healthy marriage looks like, that they can't even fathom that. They can't even fathom that when you get married, that you can actually be happy and thrive and just be together in that sense. I think a lot of people have such a negative view of marriage that they're just like, yeah, no, I just would rather just pick somebody and hope for the best. And it's like, well, no. Again, things happen, but I don't know. It's just, it's tricky. It's weird. I try not to judge anybody for their path, because again, people make mistakes and some things just don't work out. Some people, they do it the right way. You know, they get married, then they have the kid, and then things just don't pan out. And I think that's fine. Not that it's fine, but I don't judge anybody that's in that situation either, right? But I think this whole idea that it's normalized nowadays, right, to just do the whole like co-parenting thing, we're together or we're not together, or, you know, like just putting yourself in a situation, right, where you're having a kid with somebody and they can just up and leave. And yes, again, I know people are gonna say like, well, there's people in marriages that just up and leave and abandon their kid. I'm aware, okay, I'm aware. But I will say though, when you are married, it makes it harder to just walk up and leave your family versus if you're just boyfriend and girlfriend. What ties do they really have to you at that point? So again, it's just something to consider. And you know, again, with people like Halle Bailey, Keke Palmer, Flo Milli, I'm sure I'm forgetting. Oh, Skai, I keep forgetting Skai. I think the whole Skai thing is just crazy because of just who she picked. Because it's not like the Holly and DDG situation where people were trying to compare like the opportunities that she had versus the opportunities that he had. This dude literally came from jail. Like, Skai literally met this man in jail, and it's like, Skai, you literally like, again, Skai isn't necessarily a A-list top tier celebrity, but she has enough going for herself to where she doesn't need to be with someone that's fresh out of jail. That just don't make sense. So I understand people kind of getting on her a little bit, because it's just like, ma'am, where did you find him and why? But again, you know, I think it's just, maybe that's just the path that she needs to go down to realize her worth. There's some people that have that experience, and you know, you could say that society has normalized it as well, but I also think it just boils down to people having to learn their lessons the hard way in the public eye. Because I'm sure that we know people in real life that have been a Skai, that have been a Halle, that have been a Keke Palmer, that, you know, they have so much going for themselves, but maybe they don't see that worth within themselves, and they choose people that kind of mirror the insecurities that they may have within themselves, and it ends up in situations like the ones that they've been in. And so, you know, I wish everybody the best, right? You know, I think that at this point, you know, continuing to have conversations about people's wombs is just getting a little bit tired. But whether being a baby mama is quote unquote normalized or a trend or whatever the case may be, we all have autonomy over ourselves and our bodies. And so you don't have to fall into the trend. You know, you can see, you know, how these situations are panning out and say, you know what, I don't want that for myself. I'm going to be a little bit more cautious about who I choose and whether or not I bring a child into the world, and also being very mindful and strategic about the type of environment that you're bringing that child into, you know? Because I know some people feel like, you know, it's the music. Like, music nowadays promotes baby mama culture, and I don't know, I can't see a world where someone listened to a song and said, you know what, that's gonna be me, I'm gonna be a baby mama. But also, I've seen people say too that, like, a lot of these baby mamas of rappers, right, like, a lot of them have come into a lot of fame and notoriety just for being a baby mama. So you have women out here that are almost trying to have that same type of lifestyle, where they're looking for famous rappers to get pregnant by, because they think they're going to be the next who's some of the famous rapper baby mamas out there. Is Ari one of them? Ari, again, I don't keep up with these folks. But, you know, whoever they are, right? There's some people out there that look at that and go, oh, like, that could be me if I just get pregnant by the right person. So I do think there is a little bit of influence in that as well, but I don't know. But like I said, I don't think that the best course of action here is to sit there and bash these women for the decisions that they made. At the end of the day, they're gonna have to live with those decisions, you know what I mean? So I think that, you know, just leave them alone. Basically, just leave them alone, okay? I don't think us continuing to bash them is gonna stop anything. Clearly it's not stopping anything, because folks are still getting pregnant. So, you know, I wish everyone the best. You know, I feel like Halle right now is really just focusing on herself and just being the best mom that she can be to Halo. And, you know, I think Keke also is, you know, doing her thing. I don't know what's going on with her and Darius. I know she was just at something with Darius. I think he joined the military recently, and she was there. I guess he was done with his training, and, you know, she was there to celebrate him and that. So I don't know what's quite going on there. And then again, I don't know what Flo Milli's situation is, and prayers for Skai. Prayers for Skai Jackson, okay? Because, yeah, again, it's one thing, right, when you're dating a guy that you feel like is on the same level as you. Dating someone straight out of jail who, like, clearly he looked like he don't got nothing going on. So I just, but, you know, she got to live her life and learn, you know, as a lot of us have. And some of us were lucky enough to learn those lessons without children being involved, but others not so much. So, you know, it's just, it is what it is at this point. But yeah, do I think baby mama culture is normalized? I mean, it is becoming more frequent to see it happen, but considering the online backlash every single time, I don't know if I can say that it's normalized. I feel like for something to be normalized, it would mean that people are pushing for it and they're okay with it and they're accepting of it. And that's not the vibe that I've gotten from any of these situations. I haven't seen anyone be like, oh my god, yes, like, this is what you should be doing. If anything, I've just been seeing just extreme backlash and shame from the internet, and I can only imagine too, like, maybe some of the backlash that maybe they've received from friends and family. Like, who knows at this point, right? So yeah, overall, you know, I do wish, you know, for women who are successful and have a lot going for themselves, do I hope and wish for them to pick partners that are equally yoked to them? Absolutely. But I also understand having to grow and learn through having their own experiences, and it's unfortunate that those experiences are happening on the internet and in the public eye, but, you know, that's just the path that some people take, and I think that it's important to extend grace for that, and just, you know, using it as a cautionary tale for your yourself. But yeah, those are all of my thoughts on this topic. If you guys have any other topics you guys want me to cover, let me know in the comments down below, or check out the form in the description as well as my pinned comment to drop your own topics for me to cover on the channel. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys go ahead, give it a big thumbs up. And once again, make sure you guys check out Ana Luisa's holiday sale. The link to their website can also be found in my pinned comment in the description. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.